One of the classical questions when it comes to geometric, even arithmetic sequences, is to ask you to calculate an unknown term, of course, given other terms either before or after it. Now, excuse me, the principle, the key thing there is to know the principle in that sequence. We know that the constant ratio is T3 over T2, which is T2 over T1. This is obviously T1 first term, T2 and third term. You probably want to rewrite this mixed fraction as an improper fraction. 8 times 3, 24, plus 3, that's a 27, and this is obviously over 8. So once you do this and you understand the principle, you're going to use the principle then to solve for P. Okay. As you can see, the question requires us to find the possible values of P. So let's get to that. So I have 27 over 8. The fraction is definitely a problem. This has to be divided by P, and this is equal to P over 6. I'm just substituting in this lovely equation. Excuse me. And from here, I'm just going to remind you that when you divide fractions with tip and times, so what are we going to do? We're going to tip the P to be 1 over P, and we times like that. Others say you go to KFC. So in other words, you keep this, you flip that. So it was P over 1, you flip it to 1 over 2, and you change the sign then to multiplication. Whichever way you go with, the answer here will be 27 over 8P. So this is 27 over 8P, and this is equivalent to P over 6. The next story is to cross multiply. If we cross multiply here, take note, I will have 8P squared here, and I'll have 27 times 6. If you are that good in multiples, of course, then you will know it's 162, and then you divide by 8 both sides, and that will give you an 81 over 4, and this is P squared. Of course, the fundamental theorem of algebra tells us if you've got an equation of degree 2, you must get 2 solutions, degree 3, 3 solutions, etc. So this will mean that the value of P here is plus minus 9 over 2. Okay, so these are the possible values. It's a positive 9 over 2 or a negative 9 over 2. It is not surprising then that the follow-up question assumes that P is negative 9 over 2. It's kind of a hint, an indirect one, obviously, as to what you should have possibly found in previous question. We must find T6. Of course, you have to remember that the general term for not arithmetic, but geometric, is in this form. And so we know A is the first term, which is 6, and they have told us to assume that P is that. Now, if P is negative 9 over 2, let's quickly find R. I'm going to take this negative 9 over 2 and divide it by 6. So please type it like this in your calculator. We use the division sign there instead of having a fraction over a fraction. So obviously, we're going to get a negative ratio because negative divided by positive is a negative, and I get negative 3 over 4 here. And so I'm going to substitute this. I'll substitute this there, and this is my general form. This is what Tn is, which means T6 then will be 6 times negative 3 over 4 to the 6 minus 1. It's a matter of substitution. It's calculator work. This should give you negative 729 over 512. All right. That's the long and the short of this. I hope you have a better understanding and able to answer similar questions as these. Cheers.